Hey everybody, welcome back to Whiteboard Finance. In today's video, I brought a very special guest to give me an objective conversation piece. That way I'm not just talking to myself about the financial scams of 2020. And today we have none other than...
Oh, are we live? Hi, I'm Meet Kevin.
Meet Kevin. So if you guys don't follow him, definitely give him a follow. In my opinion, he puts his money where his mouth is, literally, with his real estate business. He's not only a practicing agent, he's also the Energizer Bunny, and he also invests in real estate too. So the first one we wanted to talk about...
I'm excited about this.
Yeah. I had a big video, kind of went somewhat viral. It's got 800,000 views on it. It's talking about the recession of 2020.
I hated it.
Yeah, he hated it. He flew from California just to debate me on this. No, all joking aside, he thinks it's a scam, but we're going to start with number one, the recession.
So that's right. We're going through 5 of the financial scams of 2020. And number one that we're going to debate is recession. Will there be a recession? Should we be worried about it?
Okay.
Where do we want to begin?
So, where I think it's going to start is with the Fed is just printing money, injecting. At some point, the party's going to stop. Duck, duck, goose. There's not going to be enough chairs left, right? Okay. So I think that the interest rates are so low. They've been so low for 10 years. I think right around election time, we're going to start to see a shift happening in November of 2020. So what do you think?
Wow, I completely disagree.
Okay.
And I love you, Marco,
Okay.
But I completely disagree, mostly because there's so much money in our global economy right now. In Europe, there are so many pension funds that are looking for returns on their money. And we've had such a solid growth period over these last 10 years after the Great Financial Crisis, in addition to these technological changes, which have led to a completely different economy where people should expect lower returns. So bottom lining that little summary there, our global economy is going to get used to significantly lower returns on their investments. What that means is we're not seeing fake money. We're not seeing cheap interest rates that are injecting money into the economy, it's printing money, in my opinion. I believe what we're seeing is actually an adjustment towards a completely new normal. When you go into an era of having a new modern economy, you no longer have these higher interest rates or these higher return expectations. Anytime you look at an area, and you can go look at real estate, like in parts of Ohio, where people go, well, I can get a 10% cash-on-cash return on here. That's not normal. Those areas haven't normalized yet. So what happens in those areas? You get a lot of appreciation, you get asset values going up, and then returns become normal.
Got it.
What we're seeing in the global economy right now is exactly that. So I think we're going to see low rates for a long time coming.
Got it. So why do you think the asset prices are going up?
Yeah, well, they have to go up when the yields go down. So as there's more money that's being... Oh, absolutely.
Go ahead.
Well, am I getting cut off?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm walking off the screen here. So what's going to happen is the more people are investing money, the more people that are saving money, the more people put money into index funds, into real estate, there's only so much supply. So the return has to go down as more money goes in. Yeah, you're going to see asset prices go up, which there's a little bit of a difference that we have to address here. Let me grab the marker,
Sure.
Okay? And this might be a point of confusion. So there are 3 things that go into a return on your money. There's appreciation, then there's your sort of cash flow, and then there's how much value you're getting something under market value. So you have these 3 elements here. Usually when people think of making money, these high yields, like in the stock market, prices going up, asset prices going up, they're thinking of all this appreciation that's happening. That's great. But what that's going to do is that's going to turn down future yields. So you're going to see less returns on real estate in the future. You're going to see lower returns on index funds in the future. And you'll see lower returns on bonds in the future. The market, the economies, as they mature, you're going to see lower returns on pretty much everything. But that's only after that appreciation happens. Remember, we see that 10% cash flow in Ohio go down only after dramatic appreciation. The third thing is really just being a good investor, and that's being able to buy things below market value, but that doesn't really matter in the economy. So when I look at the 2020 recession, which is kind of more what we're debating, I look at, this isn't our recession, these fears. It's easy to stoke those fears by saying, well, everything's cheap money. But my belief is that it's not cheap money that's going to lead us into a recession. Really what we're seeing is an adjustment towards lower returns on cash flow. And that, I think, is what we're all becoming used to. And we're like, oh my gosh, this is bad. Things are dark. Yields are going down. Like the global economy is slowing. Yeah, you know what? There is so much money in Europe right now.
Yep.
You good?
Sorry,
Another market here?
yeah.
There is so much money in Europe right now that pension funds don't even know where to park their money. So they're taking negative yields because they can't pay people to stand guard in a vault full of cash. They may as well pay to park their money, pay a negative yield on interest rate because they don't know where else to put it. The opportunities aren't there.
Got it. Very good. Okay, number 2. This I will be the first one to say I'm not an expert on this, but let's talk about crypto. How do you feel about crypto?
Wow. So crypto, I personally, it's interesting. I mean, if Facebook's pushing the Libra, I think there's this whole let's get away from government-controlled fiat currency. But earlier we were talking, you had an interesting point. I kind of want to hear your point.
Yeah, I think that depending on what's embraced or what isn't embraced, obviously Bitcoin is decentralized because of the blockchain. It doesn't depend on a central bank, doesn't depend on any government regulatory
Unless
system.
You're in China. Did you hear they're coming out with a crypto, or they've been for the last 2 years trying to come out with a cryptocurrency? Yeah. Ever since they heard Facebook was making one. Yeah. They've been doubling down on making their own crypto, a government-controlled version.
Yeah. So there's no. So this is what Kevin's talking about. What I mentioned earlier off camera is basically no matter what governments end up doing, if they create a physical currency that's fiat or a digital currency that's fiat, it's all the same result. So I think that for crypto to truly take off, it needs to be embraced by many people, and it needs to be a facilitator of transactions. That's what money is. So if that ends up not being the case and people just end up going to a digital dollar, it's just going to be the same thing. However, I think that Bitcoin has been doing well just because people finally are starting to see some cracks in our financial system. Kevin may
go back to the recession.
Exactly. So Kevin may or may not agree, but that's my personal opinion based on the sentiment that I'm seeing. So I'm not a crypto expert. I don't have much invested into crypto, but I do.
You bought crypto?
I don't. I got like a referral. Like I got commissions for referral.
Like you got a free Bitcoin.
I got like a
for
free.
Yeah,
I wish it was a free Bitcoin.
Okay.
It's like 0.00001 Bitcoin. But
well, hey, so you're invested in crypto.
That's right. Unintentionally.
Crypto, no crypto.
Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, well, then I want to ask you: does that mean we're going to be looking at basically something like Apple Cash? Like, what's going to be the difference between, a crypto and Apple Cash?
Yeah, good question. I think
just a digital version of a fiat currency somewhere.
Yes, but I think the appeal of like Bitcoin and crypto in general is that it's
no
not
government.
Yes, no government, no control, no fiat. So
because this is denominated in the dollar, got it. We might in the future see Apple Cash Bitcoins.
Potentially. So digital crypto, in my opinion, scam.
You don't like it, even though you're the owner of it.
No, I'm saying government-controlled digital crypto, like government-controlled fiat crypto.
Bad.
Yes,
bad.
Scam.
That's a scam.
Regular Bitcoin and other decentralized types of crypto, not a scam.
What's your take on like Libra?
I think it's Mark Zuckerberg taking over the world and technocracy.
So bad.
Yeah.
Okay, another scam.
Yeah.
So
take
Libra
me to your
scam.
leader. Take me to your leader.
Wow,
like, yeah.
That's a good point. Okay, interesting. So as long as it's decentralized, you're for it.
As long as the people have control, yes.
Do you think that, if there's a large market crash, kind of going back to number one, that the dollar might go away?
That's why Bitcoin and gold has been going up, because I think people are starting to think that.
That's a fear, so they're putting their money into what they believe might be safe assets.
Stores of wealth, stores of value, yes.
Interesting. Are you putting money into stores of wealth?
I have some precious metals, not gold specifically.
And where are they in the studio?
They're the refrigerator, if you open it up.
I'll be right back. That's awesome.
Okay.
All right, what's another scam?
Crypto.
Let's do another one.
Okay. This isn't necessarily a scam, but I've been seeing it all over the place. I know you did a video about this as the minimalist landlord. How do you feel about minimalism? So for those of you for the people that don't know, how would you define minimalism?
Yeah, I mean, everybody defines it differently, but I think there's a whole spectrum that you could really have, of minimalism. But I think the bottom line is trying to focus solely almost on what your needs are in terms of expenses and almost cutting out everything else. Now, there's a balance to everything, right?
Yep.
But that's what I'm worried about. What the word you just said there. I'll let you take that away.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No,
yeah, taking out the joys of life.
Yeah. That is a concern for me. And so one of the reasons, I recently made a video called Minimalism is BS. And I think that's why we're writing this up here as one of the scams of 2020 is it's a cool thing to stand behind. It's a cool thing to see, wow, look at the minimalist house tour of the person who literally just moved in and, oh, really? They don't have anything? Duh.
Yeah.
Have you seen my place after I moved into a place? I mean, come on. All the boxes are in the garage. But anyway, like, maybe that's just me. Sorry. Maybe that's just me being jaded, but personally, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the whole minimalist movement because I do worry that it can be taken to the extreme of now you're no longer eating out. You're not getting that coffee at Starbucks. You're not going on vacation.
Hanging out with friends.
You're not hanging out with friends. You're not being social, which part of our millennial culture is interacting with our friends, going out for drinks, traveling. I mean, I hate to say it, like van life, getting out there. Now, some people could say, well, van life is like the ultimate definition of minimalism. But I actually argue that van life is the opposite, because guess what you're not doing when you're doing van life? You're not investing. Yeah. You're not making money, right?
Yeah.
So, which to me is one of the big downsides of minimalism is you can be sort of boxed into this corner of not investing, focusing solely on, well, I have no wealth. Let me just cut out the joys of life, and then maybe I'll have some wealth. It's a terrible way to go about it, in my opinion. What about you?
I think everything in moderation. Like you don't want to be a guy that gets a new Ferrari every week just because, for image.
Because Kevin said so.
Yeah,
no,
yeah. I have 7 Teslas. You don't want to go crazy, but also everything in moderation. I think. I have a nice set of headphones that brings me joy because I like music. I have nice speakers in my house because.
Did you get the AirPod Pros?
No, those aren't nice headphones.
Okay.
No.
No.
I'm talking like Sennheiser.
Oh, well, that's pretty nice. I did not know they made headphones because one of these is in it. But anyway, I was wearing my Beats yesterday and I looked at, I don't even know why I looked. I think I got brainwashed into Apple, which you know what? That should be scam number 6, Apple. They are so brainwashing. But I looked at the Beats Pro, or not the Beats Pros, the Apple AirBud Pros.
Yeah.
And it's like, expected delivery December 27th. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I would have
after
to wait
Christmas?
after Christmas? No. That is another scam.
Yeah.
Bonus scam.
Bonus scam.
Not minimalism either.
So just to finish my point real quick, thank you though. You need to invest in things that make you happy, okay? That's the whole point of being human. Buy your friends a round of drinks. I understand that minimalism is talking about material things. I get that. But at the end of the day, if you like music, buy a nice pair of headphones. If you like, if you're a car guy, don't go into debt, do it reasonably, don't buy a Ferrari, but buy a car that's gonna bring you joy. So I think everything in moderation is what I'm trying to say.
I couldn't agree with you more on that. And on some of these things, I think we're almost 100% on the same page.
For sure.
Might disagree on the recession aspect, but one thing that I do agree with you on is, look, there are mounting debts in our economy right now. This is going to relate to both number 1 and number 3, the recession and minimalism. Don't go into debt, especially consumer debt. Credit card debt, yeah, you know what? It's going up. Car debt, it's going up, right? An interesting thing, to kind of go slightly back to the recession thing, an interesting thing, though, that's happening in the marketplace right now is while debt is going up, overall household debt, the percentage of money that people take home that they're spending on debts is rising at a slower rate than these debts. So in other words, people's incomes are going up to substantiate some of these additional debts. So a lot of us are looking at debt metrics to say, oh, well, the recession's going to come. There's some interesting additional layers. And I think that's another thing that really complicates our economic outlook. And it makes it so hard to realize, what's actually going to happen,
Got it.
It's so confusing. But.
Okay, number 4. Okay,
Yeah.
this one, since you own one, I'll let you start.
Uh-oh.
We're going to talk about electric vehicles. So EVs.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, so I've actually had 2 EVs before. I started with my Toyota Prius.
Oh,
and,
nice.
Let me put it this way. I spent about $35,000 on this Prius in 2011. And I believe that when I bought the car and I drove it off the lot, we all know it goes down in value. I bought it new, whatever. I shouldn't have. I should have gotten it used. That's the better way to go. And you know cars, so maybe you talk to this. But this car, this $35,000 car, got me at the time 45 miles to the gallon, which then was very good, 2011. Well, I believed that I had actually bought a Camry that was worth $20,000 with a $15,000 EV engine in it. So I felt like when I bought that car and after a few years of owning it, that I had really prepaid $15K of gas money to have a Prius. Now, there are other intangibles that came with owning a Prius. It was my real estate marketing car, I had my face on it. People in California, people are like, oh, he drives a Prius, he's worldly, Like, I'm serious, like that is a real impression there. But I truly felt that there was this disparity, that I was really driving the quality of a car of a Camry, but I was paying so much more because it was an EV.
Got it.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, so I think that the technology, it's great, but it's not there just yet in terms of battery capacity, in terms of the damage that it does do to basically the earth.
The production of these batteries.
Production and just when they're dead.
Oh, and like the Teslas.
Yeah. So Teslas, EV cars are inherently more heavy. You're going to go through more tires, brakes, all that stuff. So with all that being said, I think that once the battery range gets a little bit bigger and the infrastructure is better, EVs will definitely be a way of the future. And I think that most governments are going to make it mandatory that you go electric anyway.
You think we're going to go into a mandatory electric direction?
For sure.
Really? So
Yeah.
solar panels, batteries at your house?
No, I mean for cars.
Okay,
For
just
cars to
strictly
start.
cars.
Yeah, because if you're in Cleveland, it's cloudy here every day.
So solar ain't happening up here.
I'm
Okay,
kidding.
all right.
No, for
sorry.
cars, I think.
I didn't mean to make you guys feel bad. Okay.
Yeah, I think combustion engines are going to be a thing in the past, but that's also an investing opportunity because people are going to want to own those kinds of cars when they get outlawed. Same thing with manuals. So anyway, to go back to electric vehicles, I think that once the infrastructure gets a little bit better with charging stations and things like that, and also the life of the batteries and the capacity of the batteries, I think that EVs are definitely going to be the way to go. But as of right now, I probably wouldn't own one.
I think you overpay at the moment for one.
For sure.
I do have, the Tesla Model X that I have, which I got to try to get into a higher end pool of clientele. Let me just, spoiler alert, it didn't work.
Okay.
Clientele stayed exactly the same between Prius and Tesla. Yeah, I mean, this is expensive. The Tesla X was very expensive. The 3, I feel like, hey, you know what? I don't know, tell me about the 3 though, because that's pretty dang affordable, especially with the credits now.
Just the quality of the interior and stuff. I sat in a $70,000 Model 3 and it was a beautiful car, fast, it was fun, it had the technology and all that. But just little things here and there, I mean, for $70,000, you would think it would be a nicer fit and finish.
I think they have this, that,
yeah,
exactly.
it's not necessarily the features, it's just the fit and the finish. But I'm particular
quality
about
control.
that. Yeah, quality control.
So it's not necessarily at the level of like a BMW or Mercedes yet, let's say.
No, it's just because of capacity. It's a rather new company. BMW and Mercedes, they've been around, forever.
Tesla's pumping them out,
Exactly. But I think in the future, Tesla's going to do well.
So you actually think the car industry is going to go away unless they all move to EV?
I don't think it's going to go away. I think it's going to be government mandated that you have to have a certain amount of your inventory or production has to be electrical.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so that's going to be the push of clean air and that.
Yeah, I'm saying 100 years from. I'm not saying tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what do we think then? Are EVs today? Are they a scam or not for 2020?
Scam is a harsh word, and this is YouTube, so I guess that's why we're using that word. Definitely not a scam. It's a great vehicle, but I think to your point, they are a little bit. You're paying a premium for sure.
Okay.
Cool.
So in other words, scam. Next.
Don't ever buy an EV. Just kidding.
Don't sue me, bro, Tesla.
Okay, fifth and final one. This one, I've actually been approached personally by people that I know, and that's why I kind of hold this one not near and dear, but it's kind of affected me personally. MLMs. How do you feel about MLMs? And when we say MLM, how do you feel about that? Multi-level marketing.
Initially, when you hear MLM, red flags should go up.
Okay.
And I think most people, when they hear multi-level marketing, those red flags do go up. Until people get approached and they get pitched a product. Like, no, this is you starting a business. This is a quality product. Look at the reviews. Look how good the company is. Look at the Ferrari I'm driving with my MLM's name on it.
Yeah.
Like when people see that, then all of a sudden your mindset starts shifting and like, oh, I could create this startup business. Oh my gosh. To me, an MLM is really, I don't really care if you want to call it the pyramid scheme or Ponzi scheme or whatever. My opinion is that an MLM is probably really no different than you starting any entrepreneurial venture. And I hate to say it, but most small businesses don't make it past 2 years.
That's 100% right.
Most fail. And so I think that's partially why MLMs might have a very bad reputation. But I do also think there's some of the incentives can be misaligned. And that's when you have essentially team leaders pushing to get more reps under them so they can sit in Hawaii and everybody else are the ones working.
Yeah. So similar to a brokerage, say, I don't know if you're a broker or just...
I am a broker.
Okay. So brokerage system, this is Kevin. These are all the people that work for him. Money goes back to the top, right? So smiley face, and then we'll have the dollar signs flying back into Kevin's face right over here.
That's why I'm happy.
Yes. No, all joking aside, brokerages are legitimate because they're providing a service. You're helping someone find a home. The broker takes all the risk with the licensing, the advertising, the cost, the overhead, the risk, all that stuff.
So sales.
It's sales.
Yeah.
He deserves to be
It
compensated.
could be like door-to-door sales even.
Exactly.
Selling pest control.
Yes, exactly. So I think that Kevin, or the person up top who's taking the risk, deserves what they're earning. However, with MLM particularly, it all depends on the product or the service that you're providing.
Oh, the underlying
Yes. Are you
okay.
really providing a service? Are you selling, BS protein shakes that, no one really wants?
Free real estate seminars that upsell you to like a 40 grand course without you knowing about it.
Yeah, come to the first meeting for free, and then the second meeting is only one easy payment of $9.97. And if you want to get into the exclusive group, you only have to pay a small fee of $14,997, which will get you into the elite package of $38.99.
You're good at this.
Yeah, so
that was really good.
Not in a million years will I do that.
Wow.
But all joking aside, I don't want to.
No, it's not you. Yeah.
All joking aside, people do call it pyramid schemes because you're kind of recruiting people and trying to make money off of each layer. However, to me, is it really worth your credibility as a person or a human if you're not selling something that has a genuine or legitimate service or value to it?
Well, then let me ask you about that. Like, if you come over here and you get, all these happy people under me, and they're selling, the stuff. Okay. Or can we want to mention names here? Maybe not.
No, probably
okay.
not.
And they're selling. Here they're selling, and they're selling a not to be named energy product.
There you go.
Who's to say that that doesn't work though? Who decides? Is that product a scam? If the structure is essentially the same as the brokerage, who's to say that that product is a scam?
Agreed. And
so do consumers decide, or?
Agreed. I think it's both. I think the people selling it know that the underlying product is junk, or if it's not, if you're a broker providing a service of helping me buy a new home, that's a legitimate service.
That is a really good definition, what you just said.
Yeah.
Do the people themselves know deep down inside,
Absolutely.
is this a good product or not? Well, the number one thing I say to real estate agents, if you don't own real estate, you shouldn't be a real estate agent.
Got it.
Why are you buying and selling if you don't own?
Got it.
When you were in sales
Car
as an
sales,
agent,
yep.
and when you were an agent in sales, you owned real estate.
100%. So I think that's a very good point. If you're in sales, you need to believe in your product. Otherwise, you're kind of just blowing hot air. So I think that unless these people are really getting six-pack abs off these energy products, or they truly believe in it, that's a different story. If they're just selling a protein shake because it's an X item that you can sell and recruit people to sell more of that X item, I think that's a big difference.
Although that begs the question of those people who, to get the wholesale discounts, okay, and you get into this energy MLM, you're going to have to buy 1,000 of those energy bars, okay? You might be tempted to live off them energy bars for a while.
Yes, that's a good point. That's a very good point. If they make you buy the product up front, it may
cloud your judgment.
Yeah, it may cloud your judgment, make you a little bit more biased, and it may be a scam. So I think we hit it. Apple was the bonus sixth one.
So let's review.
Yes.
Okay. Number one, recession. What do we feel about this? Is this undecided? I mean, where?
Okay. Quick 5-second take on each one.
Okay.
I think they're printing funny money. I think it's all a house of cards. It's going to collapse soon.
We got another 5 years running.
Okay. Perfect. Crypto. If the government turns it into a fiat currency that they control, it's no different than paper money. If it's owned and held by the people, I think it's legit.
I like that.
Perfect. Thank you. Minimalism. For me, everything in moderation. Not crazy, not keeping up with the Joneses, not living like a pauper, everything in the middle.
That plus invest. If you're being a minimalist and you're not investing, that's failure.
Well said. Electric vehicles. Paying a premium for a good product that can probably become greater in the future.
Great answer.
Okay, I feel like I'm repeating all your talking points. I'm sorry. All right. MLM, my personal opinion, if you believe in the underlying product, you're providing a good benefit to society, all good.
I think we kind of discovered that definition together here. That I like that.
Agreed.
Believing in that product without the wholesale belief.
Yeah. Do you have any protein bars that you want?
No.
Perfect.
Any affiliate links? Oh, what are we pitching today?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh.
All right, guys. Thank you so much, Kevin. Thank you for coming all the way from California. I appreciate it.
Anytime.
Hopefully you guys got value out of this. This video may age well. It may not age well, but at the end of the day, we had fun making it.
It depends who's right.
Yeah, exactly.
On the recession.
Maybe we'll be half right on each
If
thing.
there's a crash in a year and people start playing this quote back, I think we got 5 years.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look like a moron.
Hey, but at least we're putting ourselves out there. So appreciate you, Kevin. Thank you, brother.
Thank you, man.
All right, have a good
Awesome.
one.
Thanks.
See you guys. Thank you.